A game where people's idea of being overpowered is not leveling up at all until you gain the stat bonus abilities, and then powering through to level 100 on disc free for 100 extra stat points, allowing you to max quite a few out with the correct junctions, and then just blasting your way through anything that gets in your way. Now that might be pretty strong, sure, but it's still far too weak for us to even consider. So just what is the most overpowered you can get in Final Fantasy VIII, and how do we reach that stage? Let's find out, shall we? But first, it's time for a shameless plug. These videos do take an extremely long time to make, this one especially, having been worked on now for over 4 months. So if I could just ask you guys to hit that like button and leave a comment down below to help with YouTube's horrible algorithm, it would be much appreciated. And of course, if you're new to the channel, then make sure you hit that subscribe button for these insane grinds, where I'll be releasing a new one every week for the rest of the year. And of course, there's also my social medias in the video description as well, you should totally check out. Okay, plug out of the way, let's do this. Now, Final Fantasy VIII is one of those games where, much like in our Final Fantasy IX max overpowered, we need to stay at the lowest level possible. And to do this, we're essentially going to be playing the entire game by using the card command ability from Quetzalcoatl, because you only gain EXP when you actually kill monsters. So turning them into cards is completely safe to stop us from leveling up. But obviously, we need to kill monsters first in order to actually learn the ability. And to do this, we'll actually wait until Dalit. Once there, give Cypher all Guardian Forces and then kill off Squall and Zal. Just have Cypher level up while learning the abilities on the Long Bridge after the scene with the dog. You can also use this to draw good high level magic like Kyurga and Firegr. Once Cypher manages to get his level up to around level 65, since enemy levels are based on your average parties, and can be just a little lower or higher than that average. Then it's just a case of playing through the game normally, making sure to draw all Guardian Forces along the way. You do also need to complete the Queen of Cards side quest and the CC group side quest as well. Now, while heading through the game, you do need to learn some specific abilities. You need your refine abilities from all forces, card mod from Quetzalcoatl, mug from Diablos. Encounter none is also extremely handy, but you should get all of these while going through the game. Just don't recruit Odin. The last thing you want is for him to randomly spawn and kill something, resulting in you gaining EXP. Once we get to Disc 3 and obtain the Ragnarok, head to the Deep Sea Research Facility and unlock Bahamut. Now continue on all the way to Ultimatia's castle, because we need to draw the final Guardian Force. Now, we could have got this back on Disc 3 at the Deep Sea Research Facility, but doing that removes a forced spawn against a Tri-Face, something we absolutely can't afford to lose. So we need to get it from Tiamat instead. Now that we have that, leave Ultimatia's castle by taking the 3rd teleport at the entrance, ride a chocobo over to your Ragnarok, and go back to the Deep Sea Research Facility. Then equip Mug on 2 of your characters and proceed through the facility, but don't open the last door normally. Instead, have Zal Puncher open. Doing this will spawn forced mandatory fights, and the first one is up against a Tri-Face, an enemy we're going to be seeing a lot of, because we need to mug curse spikes. Lots and lots of curse spikes. Once you mug them, make sure to card them so you don't earn any EXP. Another benefit of carding is you can card mod them into curse spikes as well. Farm this fight over and over without proceeding on until you get 100 curse spikes. Once you have 100 of them, you can use Siren's Tool Refine ability to turn the 100 Curse Spikes into 1 Dark Matter. Then you can use Eden's Guardian Force ability Medicine Refine to turn Dark Matter into Luck Junction Scrolls. Finally, use Doomtrain's Forbidden Medicine Refinery to turn Luck Junction Scrolls into Luck Up. But seriously, be prepared to spend multiple hundreds of hours here to max out all characters. This is by far the longest stat to max in FF8, and one of the worst for anybody other than Zal and Irvine. Now, once you're done, though, continue on to the third forced battle against a behemoth and mug them for barrier items. We need 50 of them to turn into Aegis Amulets with Eden's Refinery ability. Aegis Amulets are used to teach Evasion Junction to Guardian Forces, and there's only 2 ways to get this item. One is the drop from the UFO in the Pew Pew side quest, and this is the other. You do technically have 2 GFs that have this ability already, but I don't like having them spread out like that, so I'm going to get 6 instead of 4 anyway. But I'll talk more about this later when we get to that part. But now we have luck maxed, let's move on to something that doesn't require you to trade your soul for, aka every other stat. And we might as well do 3 at once. Before that though, we need a metric ton of money. And I mean seriously loads. Even if you did the entire game and you grinded it out with an A rank for your seed score, you're not even going to be close to having enough gil, which means we need to abuse the carbuncle trick with Tonberry. Make sure you have Haggle, Sell High, Call Shop and Familiar learned, then phone the Esther shop and buy 100 tents and 100 cottages. 100 tents will cost 75,000 gil, and 100 cottages will cost 135,000 gil, or 210,000 in total. Next, we're going to use Carbuncle's Recovery Medicine Refine ability to turn the tents and cottages into 75 Mega Potions. And finally, we sell them all for 562,500 gil. This leaves us with a profit of 352,500 every time we do this, and we're going to be doing it a lot. Now, once you cap your gil, let's go spend it. Use Call Shop and call the Esther Pet Shop. Buy 100 Giant's Rings, 100 Hypno Crowns, and 100 Force Armlets. Using GF ability Medicine Refine, we can turn 100 Giant's Rings into 10 Gaia's Rings, which we can then use Forbidden Medicine Refinery to turn it into 10 HP ups. Using the same abilities, we can turn 100 Hypno Crowns into 10 Royal Crowns, which in turn we make into 1 Magic Up. And finally, we turn 100 Force Armlets into 10 Magic Armlets, and then again, those into 1 Spirit Up. A few tips to make this step go faster is clear out the first page of your inventory, so all these items, including the ones for the gil trick, will only appear on your first page instead of having to constantly cycle through everything. Also, work on them all together since you're in the same menus for all 3 stats. But eventually you end up with luck, HP, magic and spirit maxed out. So let's move on to the actual useful stats now, shall we? First up is strength, and for this one we need to card mod Eden's card into 3 Monk's Code items, which we can then use Forbidden Medicine Refinery to turn into 3 strength ups. Then, on the Ragnarok, play cards against the left CC Diamond member in the hangar, and she will use the Eden card so long as you don't have it currently, allowing you to win it and repeat the process as much as you want. Now, onto VIII, and this is going to be the same process as strength, only this time we're going to mod the Minotaur card into 10 Adamantines, which then mod into 2 Vitality ups. Then, play the left CC Diamond Sister to win the card back and repeat. Okay, 7 stats down and 1 to go. Speed. Just like the last two, this involves cards as well, specifically Irvine's card, which we can mod into 3 rocket engines, but we need more than 3 of these. So again, play the left CC Diamond member and win the card back, mod it into 3 more rocket engines, and then use Forbidden Medicine Refinery to turn 5 engines into 1 speed up. Okay. Hundreds of hours later, and we did it. Our stats are maxed at the lowest possible level, and we haven't even needed any junctions to do it. But we're still not done. This video is all about being the most overpowered possible, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Using amnesia grains, make Quetzalcoatl, Shiva, Ifrit, Siren, Brothers, and Diablos forget everything apart from their junction abilities, refinery abilities, and command abilities. Then teach them all of the stat junction abilities, although you can't teach a GF hit junction. Only Diablos, Cerberus, and Eden come with that, and there's no way to teach it to anybody. Then teach the 6 GFs magic, item, and draw. You can also teach GF if you want, but I consider that to be completely useless. Finally, teach them status defense times 4, ability times 4, and elemental defense times 4, along with status and elemental attack. Okay, our 6 primary Guardian forces are now complete, so let's equip them before we work on the next 6. Give Squall, Shiva, and Doomtrain. Zal wants Ifrit and Pandemona. And Eden, sorry. Give Irvine, Diablos, and Leviathan. Quorstis can have Siren and Alexander. Renoa has Brothers and Cerberus. And finally, Selphie has Quetzalcoatl and Carbuncle. With this setup, you can junction 4 abilities to every character and junction anything to every single stat for everybody apart from hit on Quorstis. The reason I went for this setup is Squall and Selphie can max out hit by default, so they don't need a boost from it, and only 3 characters can get hit junction, so I chose Irvin, Zal, and Renoa since I don't like Quorstis. Anyway, let's work on the next 6 Guardian forces now, shall we? This time we make Carbuncle, Leviathan, Pandemona, Cerberus, Alexander, and Doomtrain forget everything apart from their unique commands and hit junction on Diablos and Cerberus. Now we teach them Auto Protect, Auto Shell, Auto Haste, and Ribbon. Protect, Shell, and Haste are pretty easy to get, especially with card mod. Ribbon, on the other hand, only has 2 ways to get it, or technically 1 way. It depends entirely on the version you're playing. If you're on an older version, you can only get Ribbon item from Chocobo World, and even playing that mode on PS1 required you to import an adapter from Japan. On the HD remaster though, the only way to get Ribbon is through Angelo Surge, and this is pure RNG. You could spend 30 minutes to get them all, or you could spend 300 hours, but that's just RNG in a nutshell. There is a trick we can use though. Outside of Esther, you can encounter a Turtopod enemy. Once it enters its shell, cast Confuse on it and it's now glitched and won't do anything at all until you attack it. This lets you infinitely farm with Angelo Surge. Okay, we have max stats, we have 4 insanely good auto abilities, we're protected against every single status in the game, and we still haven't actually junctioned any magic yet. So let's do that now, shall we? Firstly, junction 100 triple spells to everybody's hit junction for a 150% boost. This will max out everybody's hit apart from Zal if they all have their final weapons. For Squall, Selphie, and Quorstis though, junction triple to evasion instead. For everybody else, junction tornado to evasion. So we're completely protected against all statuses thanks to Ribbon. So now let's make it so we absorb all elements. Put 100 ultimate in everybody's magic defense along with full life. This makes it so, let alone taking damage from magic, we just straight up absorb it. We could boost it a little more than 40% absorption, but I find that rather pointless to be honest, but feel free to do so if you wish. So, let's recap what we have so far. With the lowest level possible, we have all stats maxed as high as they can possibly go, we're immune to all statuses, we absorb all magic damage, and we probably lost all friends and family due to our grinding condition. But we can still take this one step further. Let's max out Guardian Force compatibility, and for this the best way is the Love G item, which you can get 100 of for modding the Fat Chocobo card. Spam use these items on your party, and then when you run out, you guessed it, the left CC Diamond member will use it for you, so go win it and card mod it again to finish off. And we're done. Now, sadly, this challenge I had way too much AFK time in the save file, so I can't give you a really accurate time taken like my other videos, but it is for sure over 500 hours. Now go out there and murder everything in sight apart from Omega Weapon, because you actually still need to know the strategy for that fight. Anyway though everybody, thank you all for watching and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please be sure to hit that like button and comment down below. Let me know if you ever stat maxed like this on FF8 before. And of course, if you're new to the channel, then make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Also, down below in the description is a link to our Discord server, so come join the Primal army, and there's also my Twitter and Twitch links which you should totally check out as well. Finally, for anybody who wants to help support the channel, then consider becoming a Patreon or a YouTube member, both linked in the description. As always though everybody, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.